Hello, and welcome back to Reading with Neva. Alright, so it is finally that time of the month where we are going to play my Gilmore Girls TBR game. If you would like to check this out from before, I did this game for the first time last month for my September TBR, so that will be linked below, or it is in a playlist on my channel. So today we're going to be doing the Gilmore Girls TBR game for October. I actually already have 33 books back here on my shelf. That video is already up on my channel if you want to watch that. So my goal for this game today is to not add any more books and to just simply utilize the books that I've already picked out for October. So we will see if my game is nice enough to me to do that or not. Really quick, the rules of this game are pretty simple. I have a game board over here on my iPad, and I will roll a d20, which is a 20-sided die, to determine how many rolls I have to do with my D12 die, which is a 12-sided die, and the D12 will be used to actually move my little game piece, my little fairy, around the board, and the D20 will determine how many times I have to roll to move around the board. So that's what we're doing. Then obviously we will land either on a prompt or on a space that says Rory prompt or a space that says Lorelai prompt. So we have general prompts, and then we have the Rory prompt and the Lorelai prompt. If I land on a Rory or Lorelai space, then I will show you my computer and I will roll a wheel for whichever person that I landed on, and the wheel will determine my prompt for that space. Hopefully that made sense. This is only the second month that I have done this game, so I am still kind of tweaking it and playing around with it to determine the best course of action. I will say that last month, so for September, I did not complete my TBR, but I am going to go ahead and not give myself a punishment for October, because I feel like putting 33 books on my hopefuls for October is punishment enough. So let's go ahead and I will flip y'all around so we can go ahead and do our first roll. Okay, so here is my Gilmore Girls TBR game board, and we are just going to go ahead and start on start. So I will go ahead and roll the d20, and that will determine how many times we will be rolling. All right, so it looks like we landed on 5, which is great. That is a great roll for me. So 5. All right, so let's go ahead and we will do roll number 1. Okay, 11. 1, 2. All right, and we landed on a Lorelai prompt. So let's come over here to my computer, and we will spin our Lorelai wheel. All right, so we got mother-daughter relationship. All right, so roll number 1 is mother-daughter relationship, which was a Lorelai wheel prompt. So I need a book that has a mother-daughter relationship in it. So let me check my 33 books. Otherwise, I will pick something from this shelf over here. All right, so the book that I am picking for mother-daughter relationship is Finley Donovan Knocks 'Em Dead. This is already on my TBR. I'm really trying to just stick one of these 33 books into my TBR. This will be technically a reread for me. However, this is also one of our October picks for Bessie's Book Club, which is a book club that is run by me and 2 of my friends, Reni and Brittany. And so I do need to re-listen to this. I listened to the first one last month, but there is a mother-daughter relationship in this book. There's actually 2, 3, there's a couple actually. Finley has a pretty cute relationship with her mother. Her sister Georgia also has an interesting relationship with their mother. And then Finley Donovan herself has a young daughter. So that's what I'm going to use for mother-daughter relationship. So our first pick is Finley Donovan Knocks Him Dead. All right, let's go ahead and do roll number 2. All right, 2. So our second one is a Rory prompt. And see what we get. A diverse book. All right, so our second roll landed on a Rory prompt, and the prompt that was picked by our wheel was a diverse book. So I already know which book I'm going to pick for this one. Picking The Gilded Ones by Namina Fauna. This, I don't know a lot about this book. I know that I'm pretty sure it's a fantasy book about a girl who is discovered to bleed gold instead of red, and gold blood is a sign of impurity. So this is actually a book that I borrowed from my sister, so I did add it to my TBR for this month, even though I don't think it's really like spooky or like spooky vibes or Halloween vibes, but because I borrowed this from my sister, I'm trying to get this read so I can give it back to her. And I'm also going to be buddy reading this book with my friend Cassie, so it was already part of my TBR as it was. So that is what we're going to pick for a diverse book. In future, diverse means pretty much anything that I deem as diverse, so that can be like this, where we obviously have a BIPOC author and a BIPOC main character, or a black main character and a black author. It can also be any kind of representation of like LGBTQ or whatever, race, sexuality, whatever, mental illness, whatever I deem as being diverse. So that the next one will be The Gilded Ones. All right, let's go ahead and do roll number 3. 8, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is a Rory prompt. So we will roll our Rory wheel once again. Continue a series. All right, so our third roll was to continue a series. So I actually have 2 different series on my TBR for this month, but only one of them I feel like fits this prompt. If I had gotten the start a series, I could do the other one, but because I actually have a series that I need to continue, that's what I'm going to do. So the book that I am picking for this prompt is Good Girl, Bad Blood. I plan on reading this one, which is the second Good Girl's Guide to Murder book, and also the third one, but because I haven't read the second one yet, this is the one that we're going to be picking. So this book follows our main character, Pip, who in A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, without giving any spoilers, is doing a senior project, and her senior project is to find out if a boy, like a local boy in her town, actually murdered his girlfriend or not. Now he has unalived himself at this point, but she doesn't feel like he is guilty, so she decides that she's going to find out. So in this book, we follow Pip. She started a podcast and claims that she is not a detective anymore, but then her friend, I believe, her friend goes missing, and the police really aren't doing anything, so her and her friend Ravi decide to investigate this friend's disappearance. So that is what I will be reading for Continue a Series. All right, let's go ahead and do roll number 4. All right. All right, so we got contemporary romance. All right, so for our fourth roll, I landed on contemporary romance, which unfortunately I do not have any contemporary romance in the 33 books that I have picked for October. So I did have to end up adding a book to my TBR. So the book that I added is After I Do by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is actually a book that I was supposed to read last month, but I sort of hit a slump with physically reading. I seem to have gotten over that slump, so I'm going to add this to my TBR. I don't know a lot about this book. I know that it is about our main characters, Lauren and Ryan, but I believe that we are mainly following Lauren. Lauren and Ryan are taking a break on their marriage, and I think there may be a cheating trope in here because they take like a full year break from their marriage, and I think she dates other people, but I'm not 100% sure. I've been told by my friends to read this book. I believe this is an earlier book by Taylor Jenkins Reid, so that's what we're going to add to our TBR. Hopefully, since we're about to do our last roll, I won't have to add another book, but that's what we're doing for contemporary romance After I Do. All right, so let's go ahead and do our fifth and final roll. 5. Okay. All right, so we have another Rory prompt. Okay, so I got Continue a Series again. Alright, so for our fifth and final roll, we did get the Rory prompt of Continue a Series again. So I'm going to kind of stretch my own game, and instead of adding a whole another book to my books already, I'm going to just make myself finish this series, and I'm going to use As Good as Dead as my second Continue a Series prompt. In the future, there might be something else that I do for this. I don't know, but because this month is already so massive and there are so many books that I'm supposed to be reading, I am just going to go ahead and add As Good as Dead. So that is my fifth and final prompt. So we got Continue a Series twice, so I'm just going to be throwing the last book in the series I'm already continuing as that book. All right, so these are the 5 books that I will be reading for my Gilmore Girls TBR game. If I do not get these 5 books read, so these are just the 5 specifically for my TBR game. Thankfully, Gilmore Girls TBR was really nice to me this month, considering how many books I already had on my TBR or on my hopefuls. Again, that video will be linked below, and it's also on my channel if you want to watch it. But these will be the 5. If I do not finish these 5 books this month, then I will have to go ahead and give myself a punishment, which will be adding a book. Like, I'll already have a book on top of whatever I roll with the D20. So I would say that Gilmore Girls TBR was super nice to me this month, and I was mostly able to fit in books that were already on my October hopefuls. The only one that I did have to add is After I Do, but I think that it will be a cute and quick read, so I don't think it will really be that big of an issue for me. So thank you so much for watching this episode of Gilmore Girls TBR. If you want to play this game, I hope you will, but if you do decide to make your own Gilmore Girls board and play, please tag me so I can see it. And if you've made it this far into the video, go ahead and leave me some kind of fall emoji, a leaf, a hot coffee, something down in the comments, and I will see y'all in the next one.